Hello, my name is Mary Ann Wright, and I'm a 4-H area educator for Lincoln University Cooperative Extension. Thank you for joining me today as we continue our Ag and Nature Week as a part of our virtual summer camp experience. If you are registered with us, you should have your packet, and in this includes your activity pack for today. And if you don't have a packet, don't worry, you can still join in. You're going to want to find our grab and go activity that's entitled Potable Planter. That's what we're going to be working on today. You can also find a copy of this on the Pemiscot County 4-H Facebook page, so go ahead and reference that whenever you need to. If you received our kit, you should also have a bag of supplies, and in this bag you are going to see a toilet paper roll, some soil in a bag, and some seeds at the bottom of it. So I want you to get all those supplies out. And then in addition to those supplies, you're going to need a few more things. You'll need a marker, a pencil, a pair of scissors, and a spoon. Now if we look at today's guide sheet, you can see that the name of this is called Potable Planters. And this is a play on word because we are going to be using a toilet paper roll, an empty toilet paper roll, to make some planters. Now when you're starting a garden, and if you use seed starters, you can actually purchase those, but it's fun and easy to make them on your own out of this biodegradable material. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So our first thing is you're going to take your toilet paper roll and you're going to flatten it. So you don't want it to be a circle anymore. You want to flatten it out like this. Now, if you have a full length roll, you'll go ahead and take your scissors and make a cut right in the middle, having two separate pieces. Now, if you have our kit, this piece has already been done for you, so you won't need to do this. You'll have a half of a toilet paper roll already provided for you. So go ahead and grab that. Next, you're going to flatten the other direction on your toilet paper roll. So I already have it this way, and now I'm going to push it this way and center my folds and press. So I have 4 creases. So that way, when I pop it back out, it almost makes a square now instead of a circle. That's what we're going to go for. The next step is to take our scissors, and we are going to create notches in each of the corners on one end. So what I'm going to do is just take my scissors, and I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way up my toilet paper roll and make a cut. I'm going to do that on all 4 corners here. So you'll see that I have that just like this. Now these flaps are going to turn into the bottom of our planter. So what we want to do to prep that is we want to go ahead and take each of the sides and press that down and fold it just like this so we make a crease. Go ahead and do that to the other 3 sides. So now we want to turn those flaps into our bottom. So what we're going to do is take one of our flaps and fold it in. We're going to rotate and then take the next flap. So you see that this one overlaps that first one. We're going to do it again. Again, it will overlap the one before it. And then the last one is the one that's a little tricky because we are overlapping both sides and we only want to overlap the one. So we are going to take our fingers and pop out that first tab that we folded in and make it so it will hold together like this. So this is like a box fold. If you've ever seen a cardboard box or have broken one down, if you ever want to put it back together, you do this type of fold so it holds its shape. And now we have a planter that's ready to accept our seed starter. So I'm going to lay that down for a minute. One of the steps I like to have is to mark what we're putting in our seed starters. So that way, if you're planting multiple seeds, when it's time to actually transplant those in your garden, you'll know exactly what plant you're putting in what spot. So if you have our kit, you have two different seed options in here. You have a green seed, which is actually cilantro, and you have a few purple seeds, and those are zinnias, which are flowers. So you can choose which seed you want to plant, but you're only going to be planting one seed per seed starter. Now today I'm going to be using some pepper seeds. So I have one pepper seed out. And what you want to do when you have a pack of seeds is you turn it on the back, and there's lots of information there. And it tells you how deep you need to plant your seeds. And one of the reasons I chose the seeds for our kit is because they don't need to be planted very deep. They both are about 1/4 of an inch. So for your cilantro and your zinnias, you want to make your hole about 1/4 of an inch deep to pot your seed. Okay, so go ahead and take a marker and write on your roll what type of plant you're putting in. So I'm using a pepper, so I have pepper written right here, so I will know. Next, I take my bag of potting soil, and you can use any type of potting soil, especially if you're looking at your seed and want the best type of potting soil for your particular seed. But I have just a spoon here. I'm using a disposable spoon, and I'm going to transplant some of my soil right into my seed starter. Now you're going to go all the way up to the top of your seed starter with your soil, so get a few spoonfuls of soil here. Now this potting soil should be a little moist because we want to make sure we're giving moisture to our seeds when they're just starting to out. Now the pencil that you have is to make your hole in your soil. So I'm just going to take the eraser end of my pencil, and I'm going to stick it right in the middle, about 1/4 of an inch. And I like to use this because I use the silver part of my pencil to kind of gauge my depth there. Once I have my hole in my planter, I'm going to take my seed and I'm going to drop it right in that hole there. And then just take my finger or my spoon and just cover it up lightly with soil. Now your seed starter is ready to go. All you need to do is add a little bit of water and set this in a warm place, because seeds need moisture and warmth to really start growing. And these seeds both take about 7 to 10 days to germinate. And what that means is that's when they really start to grow and really start to incubate inside that seed before they start sprouting out any kind of green stems. So 7 and 10 days, you will start to see some signs of life if you keep it well watered and in a sunny place. So I hope you try this. If you start collecting your toilet paper rolls, you can make several different planting starters, and then when it's time to plant them all, you will just go along and put the whole thing into the ground, because this toilet paper roll is biodegradable. So that means when it's covered up with the dirt, it will just break down naturally, and so you just set the whole thing into the ground. I hope you enjoyed today's activity. Next week we have another exciting theme for our virtual summer camp, so I hope you join us back then. Bye guys.